Good morning. Episode 3 of Breakfast with Leanna, where I tell you the things you don't want to hear. So, this is a message that I think a lot of people need a lot of the time. And it certainly is something that I have always kind of done and have a hard time understanding when other people don't. And so there's going to be a few caveats to my little story here, but the message today is if you have a spouse or a partner or a parent or a sibling or a child or a friend who is not supportive of whatever it is that you are doing to improve yourself, whether that is changing your diet, whether that is starting a new business, whether it is career change, whatever it is, if there's something you feel strongly about, in terms of making yourself better or taking a calculated risk to do something to improve your life situation, your financial situation, your health situation, and you have someone close to you who is not supportive of it, my advice to you is do it anyway. I'm going to explain this. But do it anyway, and either drag them along with you kicking and screaming or drop kick them to the curb, because you have to do what's right for you. So now I'm going to explain that. I've owned multiple businesses over the course of the last 25 years. And obviously I work in health and wellness now, but I've done other things. Things that I enjoyed, things that I was very good at, things that in every situation since I left college, I've always owned a company or been the boss or done something. I've never worked for somebody else. I started out working for somebody else, ended up owning the company, and since then I've never worked for somebody else. I've either been an independent contractor or owned the company, because I'm not the kind of person who can take directions from other people. It's just something I know about myself. So in every one of those businesses, I've had to hire people to work for us or to work with us. And those people typically were also independent contractors. Every business that I've run, I have run where everybody is a sole proprietor, because I believe that every person should own their own business. You should not work for other people. Obviously, we need people to work for stores and restaurants and things like that. But I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in managing your own destiny. I believe in being responsible for you. I like being in a career where the only person I have to blame if I don't accomplish what I want to accomplish is me. There's no one else that is responsible for that except me. Did I do the things that I needed to do to have the type of success that I wanted to measure? And so I think that that's a unique thing about being an independent contractor, a subcontractor, or independent business owner, starting your own small corporation, whatever it is. But everybody needs to be in business for themselves, even if it's their side hustle, it's their other thing. Because you got to have a plan B, because you can never count on a job, a J-O-B. You can never count on a job. You can never count on someone else to make good decisions for you. And the worst thing are unionized jobs, where you have people with a political agenda who determine what your value is. So all about independence. You need to have fiscal independence. You need to have time independence. You need to have health independence. You need to be independent. You need to take responsibility for yourself. You are an adult, and your outcome is not reliant on anyone else's choices. So in order to do that, you have to withdraw from the system. Anyway, in doing this and hiring people, training people, teaching people to do what I do, and elevating people, mentoring people, those are all things that I personally find to be valuable, important, and that's what my passion is. Of all the people I have seen succeed and fail, those who have failed were always people who I wanted them to be successful. I saw what their potential was, but they didn't. And the reason they didn't was almost always someone they loved: their spouse, their domestic partner, their children, their parents, a sibling, their best friend, someone close to them in their lives. And this is true even of my clients. People who made bad decisions, people who didn't follow through, people who gave up on good health were always the people who were criticized by someone they loved. I have seen young people who could have made a killing in many industries, who could have been successful at anything they tried, completely fail because their parent told them, that's too risky. You don't want to work somewhere where you work by commission. You need a job where you get a paycheck every week and it's safe. Or a spouse who said to them, we can't afford that. We can't afford for you to invest in your own business. We can't afford for you to not know that there's a paycheck coming every day or every week. We can't afford to not know what you're going to make. When not knowing and taking that risk could have resulted in them making 10, 20, 100 times more money than the job that was safe. In health, I see this all the time. I see people who want to take the bull by the horns, who want to change the way that they eat, who want to reverse chronic disease, and we can, and it's easy. But there's somebody at home sabotaging them, saying, oh, this one time it won't matter. Or why are you giving that up? You love that. You should not take away the things that you love, be it sugar or crappy food or fast food or dining out or things we know are not good for us. But it's okay, because what happens is that person who's stuck is making a fear-based decision and they don't even know it. So whether that decision or whether their criticism of you is because they're afraid you're going to be better, and then when you're better, you're not going to love them, or they're afraid that it didn't work for them and so it can't possibly work for you, or they're afraid that if you succeed, it will show them how inferior they are and it triggers their lack of confidence, or it triggers their own guilt. I have had people who wanted to go to an event. You know, we offer several corporate events. I'm a big believer that if you want to improve your outcome in your industry, whatever it is, you should commit to an event, a live event where you meet people in your industry every other month, 6 times a year. I like for 2 of those, for me personally, to be personal development, ways I make myself as a person and as a leader a better person and a better leader. And then at least 2 of those industry specific. And the other 2 are usually things within the industry that I want to learn about. So for example, of my 6 events, we have 2 big corporate events that are best practices type of things. How do we address the strategies that our clients need in functional nutrition? And what are the best ways to help them meet their needs? How do we best market ourselves? How do we talk to new people? How do we build a team that works? So 2 events are about that. 2 events are about personal development, being a better leader, growth opportunities for me as an individual, whatever it is, and even spiritual growth. And then 2 are specific to my industry, functional nutrition. So the Ancestral Health Symposium, Paleo FX, other events about nutrition or functional medicine, where I'm going to learn new cutting edge things, talk to people who do what I do, make friends with people, network with people, because it's not about what you know, it really is about who you know. And being able to tap into other experts and draw from them and learn from them is more valuable than any education you will ever get, hands down. You will never learn in a book anything that is as important as what you can practically apply. What you experience is so much more valuable. So oftentimes I work with people who don't see the value of these things, or their spouses don't see the value in them leaving for X number of days, 6 times a year. It's hard on the family, right? It's a financial burden. It means somebody's got to stay home and watch the kids and juggle the schedule. And in a 2-parent household, sometimes that's hard. I get that it's hard, but anything worth doing has to be hard to do, because if it was easy, everybody else would be doing it too. So you have to know that in order for you to be the person you want to be, you have to make sacrifices. You have to be outside of your comfort zone a lot of the time. If you're sitting where you're comfortable and safe, you're never going to be anything except mediocre at best. So there's a lot of excuses, a lot of reasons not to do the things we need to do. And oftentimes that's fueled by a lack of support at home. So my advice is, do it anyway. When it comes to something like that, going to an event, plan it, schedule it, pay for it, and tell your spouse they can come along so that they can see your vision, or they can stay home and sulk and be a baby by themselves. And then they can watch the kids. But you can set up a babysitter for the kids for a couple days, get a parent or grandparent to help you out, a sibling, one of your siblings, an aunt or an uncle to help you out, and go and immerse yourself in what it is you are passionate about, and bring your spouse along so that they feel that vision, because they're never going to see the vision from you. They're going to see it in a bigger scale around people who have the same value system and beliefs and desires and passions that you do. Or they can choose to stay home, be a baby, and you're going to go do it anyway, because no one is going to stop you, least of all the person who is supposed to love you most. And sometimes you outgrow those people, and it's okay. In the case of health, which we see all the time, this is something we deal with constantly in our practice. I see a lot of spouses, usually husbands, but it's across the board, who will do small things to sabotage their spouse. Buy them special treats, their favorite candy. They'll bring home something that they know that person is choosing not to eat because it harms them. And they think that they're doing them a favor. But what they're really doing is saying, I don't want you to get better. I don't want you to be better, because if you're better, then I won't recognize you and you might not need me anymore. So if I can keep you right where you are, and I keep our relationship exactly the way it is, that's what's safe for me. Sometimes, again, you outgrow those people. Sometimes those people just are not the right person. And sometimes it takes you being consistent and persistent and doing the thing anyway to show that person that this wasn't a fad. It wasn't an overnight sensation. It was something that was really important and valuable to you, and you needed them to be supportive of it. And sometimes you just have to sit down and grab them by the shoulders and shake them and say, look, this is important to me. I need it to be important to you. And even if it's not important to you, I need you to respect me, because as a partner, you do have to have mutual respect. And if there's no mutual respect, then there's no relationship. So they don't have to like it, but they have to support you in it. And what I see a lot of times is that people will change their diet, transform their health completely. And then after a while, when their spouse sees this transformation and they see that it's consistent, then they begin asking questions and they begin wanting that door opened and they begin wanting your help. And that's great. And that's obviously what we want. We want them to come along, but some people are incapable of that. And you have to be okay in yourself, knowing that this is what's valuable to me. This is what I want. And I don't need anyone else's approval. I don't need anyone else's okay. I don't need a sign to tell me that it's okay, because I know, I feel confident in that. I know that this is the right thing to do, the right time to do it, that this is what needs to be done. And that's not saying that there won't be mistakes made. It's not saying that there won't be failures, because there will. And what I tell my kids is, I would much rather celebrate every failure with you than have you do nothing. Wins are great, but failures are so much more important, because those are your opportunities to learn, to change, to grow, to adapt. So yes, I love the win, but I love the fail just as much as the win, if not more. What I hate is complacency. What I hate is staying the same. What I hate is choosing to do nothing because nothing was easier than the potential for failure. I hate that. Anyway, that is my Breakfast with Leanna today. You guys have a great day.